Hey everyone! Welcome to episode 22 of the Mid-Geek Crisis. My name is Joe, and my partner in crime,
Pedro, Cautious, yep.
Yeah, hey guys. This is our pre-PAX East episode. PAX East will be, well, by the time this episode airs, I will probably be on a plane heading towards Boston, and on Thursday is day one of PAX East. It's a big show.
I like to think of it as Borderlands Day. That's the first day of PAX.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 p.m. Eastern time is the panel for Gearbox. Gearbox, it will be streaming it online. I will find a link for it and post it in the Facebook post, and maybe I'll post it in the show notes. I'll try.
Do you think it's going to be like a Pandora-esque wasteland for all of us gamers on the line trying to get into that show? We're just going to murder each other.
I'm willing to go psycho on somebody.
It's going to be pretty
Conductor of the poop train. I'm totally.
Well, you're that guy with the 2 machine guns.
Yeah, right? I'm the gunzerker.
You're the gunzerker. That's it.
It's like, although in Boston you don't want to do anything like that, but
no.
Well, guys, episode 22, like I said, pre-PAX, but there's a lot of stuff that happened this week, and while we aren't a tech blog, we like to talk about family and gaming and the future view of gaming and how it affects us and us growing up and getting older. Nothing made me feel older than the news that happened in gaming this week, for sure. It's an interesting, as a guy that's a retro gamer and a guy that likes to have his stuff on his shelf
or in boxes,
and I have embraced the digital landscape a little more as of late. I do like the instant gratification of buying a game online and just playing it. This future view of gaming scares me a little. In an old man yells at clouds kind of way.
Do you remember when Google was just like a text box you would type in a search into? Do you remember that? Because I do.
Yeah.
Remember when someone was like,
Farms, remember?
Dude, stop using Alta Vista to find your term paper. It's just
man.
Into the Googles.
Yeah, Google was. I remember many years ago there was the joke that Google would take over the world, and we all laughed and was like, "Oh, how funny!" And here we are. Google has officially taken over the world. Google commands the majority run of phones out there. I mean, Apple iPhone is great and fantastic.
There's something like 90% of searches in Europe, so they get all that data every time people do a search. They just own Europe. They pay fines every 3 weeks in Europe, and
we were all worried about Skynet, when in reality it was Google, and
the algorithm.
Google and the algorithm. It's frightening, it's scary, and now they have gotten their chocolate into my peanut butter, and that is they are doing gaming.
Yeah.
At GDC happened last week. Lots of news. I mean, I wish we could sit here and talk for hours about all the stuff and all the minutiae that was announced at GDC. It's a fantastic conference. Please go read up on it. All sorts of wonderful talks. I've been kind of absorbing all that stuff as of late. But the big one, the weird one, I guess, was the Google Stadia. This was their big announcement. This is Google's, we are doing gaming now. And it baffled most of the old game heads out there. It's weird. It's not anything new. We've talked about this on the show.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in passing that there was a sort of leak or a news story out there about them doing a streaming service. They were testing it with Assassin's Creed, their streaming service via
Chrome.
Their Chrome device. So it's been out there. It's been teased. It's straight streaming. It apparently works really well. The reviews for the Assassin's Creed, was it Odyssey? It was Odyssey, right?
Yeah, it was Odyssey.
That folks liked it. Folks enjoyed that streaming service. And now here is Google with Stadia, which I want to say, like, I was like, yay, what? Like, I was like, where are you going to go with this? How does this work? And then once I started reading about it more and more, I was like, oh, wait, this is you plugging into YouTube. This is
you feeding the machine.
This is about you feeding the machine. This is about Google gathering more information and more everything, and defensively playing against Twitch and all the other places where gamer eyeballs are going now, right? So gamer eyeballs aren't necessarily automatically going to YouTube for videos. They're going.
Look, let's put it out there. This isn't Google selling you anything other than a service. If you do any searches on Stadia, you'll see that it's a controller. That's that's what you've got to buy, at least the base starting point. And you can play on a PC, you can play on Android devices, you can play on all sorts of things as your screen. But essentially, you use this controller. The controller has a headphone jack. The controller connects to the internet. And you then stream, rock and roll. You play a bunch of games. There's going to be all sorts of games launching on it. They showed Doom Eternal running on Stadia, and
like the only game they showed, right? That's
one of the major games they showed. A lot of independent games and all that. Which is, look, let's talk about the state of gaming here in the modern time right now. We've talked about this for 20 episodes on this show. Multiplayer. Fortnite, Apex Legends, Overwatch, all those games are the in game right now. I remember 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago now, the gaming front was all about the baddest graphics card and who can run Crysis, and all about your pixels and whatnot.
Can anyone run Crysis yet? Did we break that gaming barrier yet? No, all right.
Nothing can run Crysis. Nothing ever ran Crysis. Look, and then we jumped into the VR. We moved to VR, and VR became
dabbled. We dabbled.
But graphics have always commanded what gaming's about.
Puddles, right?
But puddles, and that's still there. We still have these big badass $800 graphics cards and up, $1,000 graphics cards. But the games that people are playing aren't the bleeding edge graphics games anymore. They're not the ones that are. It's all about quantity and 100 players at once on your screen without any lag. And these games, Fortnite can run on hardware 2, 3, 4 years old now. 5 years.
You can run on the Switch.
Yeah, it runs on the Switch. And
bonkers.
You can play just fine. So you've got these games that don't require all the power anymore. They just require the bandwidth.
Wait, it runs on my phone.
Yeah, it runs on your phone.
I was like, wait, the Switch is actually a game machine. My phone is not a game machine. So yeah, totally.
Right. So that said, Google's like, well, then it doesn't matter what you run it on. And most people are realizing it. And so they said, we're just going to stream your games. So now it's not about the size of your graphics card. What matters, if you wanted to adopt Google Stadia and you wanted to say, I'm going to do all my gaming on it, which more power to you if you want to do this, it's all about the fat internet pipe that you've got power to your home. The fatter the internet pipe, the more, big hose of internet that you get into your home is what's going to get you the
Google's banking on that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 G's coming. That's what's coming.
Yeah.
And I think like Google, the nice thing about Google is that they, they're willing to fail fast. So this might be just an experiment to see if they can get ahead of the curve when it comes to streaming services. Yeah, and they already are, right? They have enormous cloud computing capability already, right? So they're already ahead of the game for like Sony doesn't have that. Who are they going to pay? Amazon or Microsoft, right? Like Sony doesn't have that giant cloud computing system that Google has, and not nowhere near as big as Google.
Right, we don't. Microsoft, no, you're absolutely right. Nothing is as big as Google. Nothing is big as Google except Amazon, and Amazon's got.
Well, I think Sony's got the advantage in that they have the game library and they have the games, right? And they've got experience launching games. They got experience marketing games, but they're
the gaming company. Google is the information technology company. Both trying to do the exact same thing. Right now, they are crossing their own stream. They're bleeding together in a way that's
what we're finding all of these massive tech conglomerates doing. Like Facebook has their own gaming service or their gaming streaming.
Well, they're going to be streaming service, right?
It's just a step from Facebook streaming to.
Well, they do own Oculus.
See, they're all. It's all weirdly. What would be cool if I could put on my Oculus and then play my Google Stream games inside my.
I'm sure you will. Absolutely. Why not? It's a PC platform. You're going to be able to just hop on and play your. No, it's going to be there. Look,
and I'm playing another game inside a game.
I want to just talk the minutia about this. One is what hardware do you need for Stadia, and it's essentially a Chromecast. You need Chromecast is the way to reach it on your TV,
which is amazing. Anyone can now play games,
and you can use whatever USB controller you want on a PC. Right. Second. And I'm reading the questionnaire of some of the base questions that Kotaku asked them, and there's a big podcast that they did on this. So we're not going to talk about it as much as they dedicated a whole hour long to this. So I'll link to that. It's a great article, but a great little podcast as well. But some of the major questions was, is this another ambitious Google project that will disappear in a few years, like Google Plus, which again, Google is notorious for putting out 4 or 5 different projects, see what sticks, and then what doesn't slides down, gets canceled, gets abandoned. And the response was, I understand the concern, but I think that you have to do is look at the level of investment that we've made and continue to make in Stadia. This is not a trivial project by any means. This is a very, very significant cross-company effort that isn't just my team, but it's also across YouTube. It's across our technical infrastructure networking team that represents thousands of people who are working on this business. Yep. So this is not a small, like, oh, we're going to launch a chat program and see if it works. No, this is a big deal.
But for something they planned to launch in 2019, I feel like they weren't very forthcoming with their answers.
Right. So that was another thing. What will it cost? They're like, we're not going to talk about it today. We'll talk about it in great detail over the summer, which will probably be Google I/O, their own conference, and probably at E3. He says in the summer, we'll talk then. So nothing was answered. We don't know how it's going to work other than we saw a couple games. They said that it requires bandwidth and you can do 4K gaming and whatever.
So, like, look at the future, right? Look at how different our video game experiences and growing up with video games is going to be different for our kids, right? Already, my kid doesn't understand network television.
Yeah,
she doesn't understand the limitations of it. She doesn't get it. She doesn't like when a show drops off Netflix that she enjoys, and I have to explain to her like, oh, it's a service and
the contract thing and whatever.
Yeah. She's like, I don't care. I just want to watch my Paw Patrol. What are you talking about here? So like, but she can stream at any point. So why wouldn't games be that way, right? She doesn't even get it now when I'm like with the Xbox Live Store and I'm showing her trailers of games. She's like, let's play that. I'm like, kiddo, that costs like $30. I'm not going to buy that. She's like, well, why not? What's the holdup?
So that's a big one.
Yeah, I think our kids are going to expect.
They don't.
Information coming.
Not from this kid. Not this big kid. This big kid barely understands it. My kids don't understand it because this big kid usually tends to have everything. My kid,
that's true.
You want to play that old Zelda game? Sure, let's go to the game room and sit down and play it. A good example is my kid has been playing it's like a Kirby game, Kirby Star Alliance or Star Allies is what it's called on Switch, and I had it on one of my second Switch. And that one's kind of out of commission at the moment. And he's like, I want to play it. And I'm like, well, I don't have it on
Switch?
Yeah.
What a glorious, ridiculous world you live in.
And so he's like, I want to play it. So, he was like, oh, I don't understand. Like, oh, well, it's because I had a digital copy on that one and not on this one. So, I rectified the problem. Like, I got a copy of it. But, I bought it again. But it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just the idea here is he was like, but Dad, that was the one I was playing. That was my game. And I was like, you're right. So I fixed the problem. But the idea here is he doesn't understand that, like, you don't even have to go to the store to buy a game anymore. You just hit a button.
I know.
It's there.
It's there. Done. And like the difference between you and me is that you've hit the button 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 different formats. And I'm like, we're not hitting that button, kiddo. I'm sorry.
Right. So this service is for you.
It really is. It's a subscription service. My big worry is that this is what, 4 of them, 5 of them? How many just like?
Right. So
that's a lot of subscription services.
We're gonna, like I said, this is gonna be kind of a short show because it's pre-PAX, and we're gonna be doing a lot of PAX talk and whatnot when we record at PAX. But this is just one of the many things that have happened in the past week. Stadia was the big one. Another one is PlayStation Now. We talked about Sony, how Sony doesn't have the infrastructure. Well, they've had it. They've been doing this since the launch of the PlayStation 4. PlayStation Now has been their stubborn, and I say this in the most lovely way, stubborn way of them saying, hey, you want to play your old PlayStation games on your PlayStation 4? Even though your PlayStation 3 can play them and download them and own them, we're not going to do that on PlayStation 4. We're going to do a monthly model, the PlayStation Now. And you don't get to download the games. You stream them from our servers.
Sure.
So if you wanted to play a PlayStation 3 game on your PlayStation 4, you just play it through PlayStation Now, which is streaming to your PlayStation 4. It's a... whatever. They're a gaming company, but they want to do streaming.
That's service number 2.
That's number 2. Now, this is where I get to divide that line here. We've got companies that are doing the streaming model. You've got Sony, who's got the hardware to play the games, but we're not going to play the games, and you're going to play them over the server, which means
that's one.
Allows you to pull out your tablet, log into PlayStation Now and play whatever PlayStation Sony game you want right there. Again, Stadia can do the same thing. You pull out your Android tablet or your Android phone or your TV, you can play whatever game you want. Or we don't know what games you can play on it, but for now, streaming.
That's it.
You're not downloading any game. You're just connecting to the internet and you start playing the game. No downloads. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the other side. And the other side is the subscription-based service that you download games to, which has been the one that we've been liking a lot, which is one we both subscribe to, Xbox Game Pass, which has been giving you an immense amount of games. It's been giving you downloadable copies of the 360 games and downloadable copies of the original Xbox games on your Xbox One. So they took their hardware, their modern hardware, and you're playing all your old games on it.
Which is great.
You can also, they've just announced their streaming, kind of not stream, but you can play some of your Xbox games. Or no, I take it back. Let me clarify that. They have been pushing their Xbox service as a add-on for games. So we talked about this last week that you can now log into a good example like Minecraft on your iPad. You can log into your Xbox Live account. The rumor is that we're going to get that on the Nintendo Switch, especially since they announced Cuphead.
They also have isn't there 2 Switches coming out? One that's a little bit more
right. Well, so that was again the rumor for today. Again, we're going to throw a lot of this at you all at once. So there's rumors that there's going to be 2 Switch coming out. Either an enhanced version and probably a mini, maybe replacing that 3DS since the 3DS maybe hasn't had a license.
Yep. That'd be nice.
Huge 5+ year lifespan, but let's be honest here. They're releasing the new Pokemon game on the 3D on the Switch, and Pokemon has always been handheld. And while the Switch is handheld, maybe they want
kind of big
pocket size. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I think they might be going that route with the Mini. Who knows? But again, Microsoft has never had a handheld. What's a way for Microsoft to go, hey, let's get into the handheld market. Let's just go with Nintendo.
Get it on the Switch.
Let's get it on the Switch. And again, we talk about gaming company and technology company. On the streaming side, here today, Apple had their big media event where they announced a bunch of things. And again, we're not a tech site, so there's more things that they announced from a TV service. And one of the weird things that they announced again is, again, Apple, not synonymous with gaming other than maybe iOS gaming, but here they released something called Apple Arcade. And it's a subscription-based model of gaming. But they are download games. You download them on your tablet or your phone or whatever, and they've partnered with 100+ companies. And one of the big things, and again, this is something that I really find interesting. This is mobile gaming. Mobile gaming is synonymous with in-app purchases and pay to win, pay to play, pay whatever. And
you really got to wade through a lot of that,
of crap to play
find a game worth playing. Yeah,
and this is
one of the most depressing things you can do is on May the 4th, look for Star Wars games on your mobile phone, and 95% of them just be free to play
kind of RTS / battle games where you have to throw coins and time or timer
tippity tap and
watch 6 ads and you get to play their next turn. Oh god, that kind of crap. So I'm not saying that some of those games underneath all that bullshit,
they look great.
Really good game. I can't emphasize enough that these mobile guys, I know that they want to make money, and I get that we've now become where I was talking with a coworker about Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay. In the business that I work with, I use Photoshop quite a bit, and we were talking about how Photoshop used to be that big $600 program, $700 for the single solitary program, but they realized that people didn't want to pay that anymore, so they went subscription based. So now
literally everyone just pirated it,
right? But instead,
I do one person with an actual license.
Even then, they bought that license, and then a year later, the next version of Photoshop came out, and then their $600 copy was outdated. You could buy an upgrade version for $300.
It was the worst garbage.
Worst. So designers want the newest version. So what they've done now is they've gone subscription based. $10 a month, and you get they release a new update next week. Boom, you're going to get it, no matter what. $10 a month for this for the base model,
it's
and then
Microsoft 365 or Microsoft
did the same thing. They were like, everyone pirates Office. Why don't we just charge someone a yearly subscription? You get every new version.
And now I do it. I just get billed for it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I had Office. Oh, great.
So Apple has kind of set this precedent for a while now that you buy an app and it's yours, and developers just keep updating it for free. So the mentality is, I've already paid for that.
Yep.
And these apps, there's no longer $600 apps. There's like, the most expensive app on iOS is like $20. I mean, there are some more higher, but other than that, it's 99 cents, $1.99. Or let me buy this photography app and you get it for free, but if you want these filters, you pay 99 cents. So everything's been like monetized by nickel and dime. So here's Apple releasing a service, and they've pretty much said right up front, all games on Apple Arcade will be playable offline and will feature no ads or in-app purchases.
Which is awesome. That's going to be great for the kids. That's great.
I mean,
and the family. That's great.
I totally didn't catch that when they announced this.
Let's talk about in-app purchases and buying time and things like that. So I was at a kid's birthday party this weekend at a specific, one of those like party spots for the kids with trampolines. They had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle machine there. So 4-player, the new Turtles, the Nick Jr. new Turtles with the cool look to it. 4-player, all set up. I haven't
seen that machine. I've actually been looking to play that machine.
It's a gorgeous machine.
Oh, God, yeah.
Beautiful. So, of course, Romy wanted to play, right? Because she's like, oh, my God, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a video game. And she's like rocking it. And, you can hit Turtle Power and things like that. It was $1 a game.
Wow, that machine is an expensive machine for sure.
And it has a credit card because they know that nobody's got $1 to swap in there. So I'm looking at
actual credit card swiper.
Yeah, you could just boop $1.
So it wasn't like a machine on the side where you swipe a credit card and then recharge a play card like a Dave & Buster's, and then you can.
No, this was like when you go to vending machines. You can like Apple Pay, tap your thing. That's what it was. You just boop boop boop.
Oh my God! So that means you're getting transaction after transaction. Like,
yep, yeah, it's ridiculous. So of course I didn't let her play it, right? So I mean she sort of pretended she played, and then her friends all joined her, and they all pretended to play. Well, here's the deal, right?
I know, I get it.
We grew up playing arcade games, and we kind of knew the deal, right? You put in a quarter, and you might get like 4.5 minutes. If you're really good, you might get 7 minutes on a 4-player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle map, right?
Oh yeah, like with all 4 players, you're going to survive quite a bit, a level or two.
These games were designed to suck up quarters, right? So. I'm sitting there and I'm watching her friends all like goof off, and I'm like, man, if this was a quarter a kid, I would have thrown $1 in there without even thinking about it, right? I would have let all 4 kids play
50 cents, even if you wanted to do 50 cents.
But $1 is too high. Yeah,
that's the establishment there that set the price. You can always go into the dip switch and set the prices on these arcade.
I don't.
You can always turn them on to free play.
And all the time I watched that game go, 1 kid played it.
Yeah. They've got it priced wrong.
And he played for like 40 seconds because the game blew by so fast, right? Because he died right away. He was too young to figure out how to use the powers and things like that. And like I mean, in-app purchases are one thing, right? Where they haven't quite figured out the pricing. If it's too high, people go crazy. If it's too low, it's not good enough for the company.
Right.
But also arcade machines are the same way, where they're just like, it's sad going to the movie theater even with the kid, and it's like $2 to play a game of Time Crisis. And I'm like, why are these so... It's the same technology. It's in the same footprint. It's not like they've gotten bigger. It probably runs more efficiently than the old machine, so it's not like you're paying a ton of electricity.
They're LCDs. They're not big old CRTs.
Yeah. Why is it so much more expensive? I mean, I guess...
Well, one...
It's $1.25.
Look, you and I both know that the technology doesn't cost much. It's a TV, which is like... They're like $1 an inch now. They're like 32-inch TVs are like,
you give them away with like a system now.
Yeah. You like buy a pack of waffles at the store and they're like, get a free TV. Thanks for coming in. Here's your TV. They give them away now. So a 32-inch TV could cost, even if it's a good high-end TV, could be like $500. Yeah. And whatever computer that's running this thing is not going to be like
it's like a Raspberry Pi.
It's just a base computer with some sort of graphics card in it that can push. It's a 360 is what it is. It's like no, graphics aren't that much better, and that's it. And it's just hardware, like a cabinet. That's so. But these machines, engineering wise, the company that makes it, they want to get their R&D money back, so they charge these places like $10,000 for this machine. Easy.
What R&D money are they spending to?
I know. I think the company that makes it is called like something Thrills.
Is that it? Is it a monopoly thing? Because I feel like maybe
because there's not many of these companies left. There's not many of these arcade machine companies left. Raw Thrills is the name of the company. And it's a new machine. It just came out like last year, but I saw that they had announced it. It looks really cool.
It's 4-player, man. It's gorgeous. It's got Michelangelo. Each character has his own color, and I mean, like, hey, I have fond memories of my mom taking us down to the comic book store down the street, where they also had cream sodas and they also had newspapers, and they had a gauntlet machine in the back, and 4 players could play it, and like that was a blast. She would give us a bunch of quarters, and we would just go for it. You know, she'd probably dump like $7-8, and back then, you know, that was probably an hour and a half.
The Pizza Hut down the street had Gauntlet on our.
That's what I'm saying. Gauntlet, like those 4-player games, was the
4-player X-Men.
Friends, people all jumped on.
The X-Men had a 6-player version.
Oh, dude!
There was a 6-player version of X-Men.
How was that even?
It was a weird machine. It had
you don't like see your friends. Oh yeah.
it had 2 TVs and it used a mirror in the middle, I think, and it was just this big behemoth of a system. But it's 6 controllers.
That broke the grounds for all.
Dude. So it was 6. It's a ginormous, and then they had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for 4. Then they had Simpsons 4-player. They had Dungeons and Dragons. Remember that one?
I think that was 3-player, right?
That was a 3-player one. They had Aliens versus Predator, 3-player. Final Fight, which is 2-player. I mean, a lot of the beat 'em up games was popular back in the day, which was multiplayer. But it's all about that, like,
sit there and cooperatively play. Which again, I feel like we've lost touch with cooperative games, right? You sit there and you cooperatively play together, and you talk trash, you steal life off each other, you join together to do special moves. You know,
The Simpsons had that.
Especially arcade games where they didn't tell you anything and you have to figure all this stuff out, right? Simpsons was great that way. You have to figure out your character's special moves. And it just made me like, I don't know, it just made me really sad because I couldn't help but think about DLC. I'm sitting there like, man, $1 a game. Like, who's going to, like, that poor kid only played for a minute and a half. He could have been playing with 4 of his friends for the same price. Why wouldn't they? I don't know. The priorities are all wrong. Like, they could have. I was telling my wife, I was like, they could have gotten $5 off of me, easy, because I would have paid for her and 3 of her friends and myself, and we would have just all played together for a little while.
Right?
They didn't get a single dollar because that dollar was just too high a price point.
Right.
Which I think. Which is good. I mean, I segue.
Also, it's not like it's a commodity. Like, this game isn't like you play 5 minutes and you've worn out the machine. Like, it's not like it's not like tires on it. Like, the machine is sitting there generating power, and if no one's playing it, it's not making any money back.
It's sucking up power. It's in the middle.
No, that's a bad price. Yeah, 55-inch HD TV is what it's got on it. Illuminated LED buttons and trim, active marquee, 4-player terminal. No, it is. I'm looking at it. It's beautiful.
And it's like, it was like lowered, I think, for kids, because like usually Romy has to be like that.
Yeah,
she had to come down like this, and like she could actually get in there. I couldn't get in there. So
yeah, it looks compact. Compact footprint is what it says.
So anyway, back to Apple and their subscription service.
No, but this is a great segue because what you're talking about here is when we were kids, the DLC was quarters, right?
Yep. Like, just drop it in there, play another life.
But it wasn't a lot. Like, even back in the day where $1 was worth more, me getting $2-3 to play Street Fighter, even though I could get my butt kicked by the person in a split second, if I got better, it didn't hurt me that much. I can earn $5-6 in like change or whatever and play this game for hours on end. $20 at Chuck E. Cheese or Pistol Pete's or whatever place you had, whatever.
It's gone in like 30 seconds.
And yeah, now it's gone in 30 seconds. But, a good example, I went to the movie theater recently, and they've got a little mini arcade where you slide a credit card and they give you a card and you play. And I threw $10 on it, and it got me 3 games.
Oh, were they like $2.75 a game?
They're like $1.75 or something like that. And it was the sit-down Mario Kart. Which is beautiful. It's fantastic. It's Bandai Namco makes it. There's with a conjunction with Nintendo, and you Pac-Man and Mario play.
I've seen it with 2 and 4, but I wish they had like a big old 8 one set up. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, and that one, just because the machine's probably expensive for them to rent or whatever, whoever owns it, they crank up that price. Also, the shooter games, they've got like the big Jurassic Park machines and all that. They're expensive. They're like $1. If you go to Dave & Buster's, you don't know how much you're paying. points, right? They're
Not
like
fun. Have you played that? Jurassic,
no,
I'm sorry, that Jurassic Park game is not.
my wife is constantly angry at it. They're like, why are they shooting the non-meat eaters? Like you're shooting like brontosauruses and stuff. You're like,
Get the power-ups.
I don't understand. Like, why are you killing innocent dinosaurs? Like
they're not innocent because they feed the carnivores, Joe. You gotta cut off their
circle of life.
That game is dumb as hell. It's terrible.
There's a Walking Dead game that's pretty fun that I've played once or twice. It's made by the same company, Raw Thrills, and it's pretty neat. It's like a modern House of the Dead, but with the Walking Dead license, and it's got Michonne.
Just give me Star Wars.
They've got a Star Wars one too.
I know. Give me a good Star Wars, but that one's not that bad actually.
Yeah. Look, back to the subject at hand here. Apple's got they're taking a pretty unique stance, considering that they are the machine that feeds the in-app purchase thing. So it's bold of them. But then again, Apple has been very bold, and you call me a fanboy or you will, but they've been very bold about privacy. That's one of their big stances on it. Right? They've been bold about privacy. They've been like, we don't make money off of your stuff like Google does. So it's, again, here we are, Google and Apple.
Apple is going to be they're going to be the luxury service, right?
Well, they've always got that license. They're like, $1,000 for a phone.
I think that $1,000 price point, a lot of people didn't go for it.
No,
right? It was definitely.
But not only did they not go for it, is then the competitors did the exact same thing. They had to price it at that range. So the new phones, like the S10 and the S10 Plus or whatever, they're like $900.
Yeah, just buy used. That's what I've been doing. Anyway, that's my plan. I don't plan to buy the new iPhone for a while, but I think along with that sort of premium price service, offering privacy is something that makes sense, right?
Right.
You don't need to sell your information because you bought $1,000 phone. You bought a $1,200 phone. You paying $80 for their premium arcade service. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how many services I can subscribe to. I think as a family unit, that's going to be hard to do. It's probably going to be the one with the games I like the most. If they don't have contracts, what's to prevent me from joining one for a month, dropping off, joining another one for 2 months, dropping off, right? So, like, how are they going to get me to stay like Xbox Live has, right? My friends are there. My achievements are there. My online personality's there, right? So I wonder how, like, Google's Stadia is going to make me stick around for longer than it takes to beat one of their games.
Yeah, so that's interesting. You say that. Then this is where Microsoft is kind of going, we know what you're looking for. You're looking for community. And so there's already all these, I say rogue, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean like they're not really a gaming service, like Discord. Yep. Everyone's on Discord. Everyone's using it as their chat service. You've got companies like Steam that's always had kind of a friends list, but they don't use it for chat. Discord has become kind of the log in. We're on Discord. We'll chat. We'll video chat. We'll audio chat. We'll chat room chat. But it's not a game service. It's not where you go and play your games. You still have to load Steam, or you still have to load all of whatever console you're going to play and load up Discord on your smartphone. Xbox is kind of going both routes. They're like, we've got your friends list. You're already paying us yearly. We're going to give you now cross-platform play. You're going to be able to log in on your Switch soon with Xbox, and maybe they'll have chat. Like, I don't know. I feel a big announcement.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't copied Discord into the Xbox Live app. Like, why have they not done that?
It's because Discord isn't for sale maybe yet, or the price.
No, I know, but I mean, like, Discord's just a chatting service. That doesn't seem like it's hard to copy. I've been Discord. I don't know. I don't know if you could probably add more bells and whistles to Discord, but like, I've been using a service like this since Telnet, right?
Right.
We're just all in the
IRC.
same room.
Everyone
We're just all chatting in the same room. Yeah, we can put emojis and post pictures, but it really doesn't add much more than that.
Yeah.
And not to, I'm sure, I know you can also do voice over it if you want to put teams. You can make rooms. There's a lot of options.
It's very powerful, especially when you throw them $5 a month for Nitro, and you get a couple of extra features. And
I'm just surprised that like Xbox hasn't carbon copied it or bought them. But I mean, if they're not for sale, they're not for sale.
Well, I mean, look at Twitch. Twitch is another one. Everyone logs on to Twitch. They've got their Twitch username. They've got chat rooms. They've got all of that. People don't play games on Twitch. Yeah. They've got Twitch Gaming because Amazon bought them. Like, you can premium stuff, but they're not a service. So you stream your games on Twitch.
You can subscribe to Twitch though, right? You could.
Yeah,
that's how you could like support creators or what streamers.
Right. But you're throwing money at the yes. But it's not a place for you to go and consume games. It's just for you to play your games to stream it to other people. It's your broadcasting service.
This is how people consume games now, though. They watch other people play them. That's
right.
So that's what happens. Which, okay, be my guest. I get it. I get it now that I've done that, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
One thing that I noticed with Stadia that might make it different is that you can stream and play with people. Like, you can invite people to play in your games, right? That was one of the notes I read. Super dangerous, very problematic. Most likely that's going to get bad fast, especially considering how Google has been with their YouTube, and they're pretty much crazy stance on all things free speech. But that seems cool to me too, right? I think the idea of streaming and like inviting people into your games to play with you, especially in games where you now have hundreds of people on the screen and things like that, might be kind of cool.
This show gets put up on YouTube. I love YouTube. I consume so much info on YouTube. It's fantastic, but YouTube has had a huge problem with the way that they kind of treat their creators.
Oh yeah.
If you're not a big money making creator, then you don't have any real say on what ends up happening. I don't think you even have say when you are a money making creator.
And
when you are a money making one, you might have some preference in some way. Like you might get pushed up in the algorithm mysteriously whenever they put up a single video, even though there's a whole algorithm that they don't want to explain. Even the creators don't have any idea how it works.
I know.
But a good example, and again, we're going to get back to family here, is the safety net that is YouTube. A good example was a horrible tragedy last week. An individual decided to stream a lot of it to Facebook and all that, and a lot of those videos were getting posted on YouTube. And I think they said they were blocking like 100+ instances of re-uploads of the video of this incident a minute.
Yeah, right. So, okay. And this is my big joke with everyone that knows me. It's not the people that's going to kill us. It's the algorithm. It's not an AI. It's not a robot apocalypse. It's not Trump. It's not a little Korean with a nuclear missile. It's the algorithm that's going to kill us. And this algorithm is doing exactly what you're talking about, where it sees that people are searching for that video, reacts to that by trying to post a video. More bots gather as it's being torn down, right? So the popularity is increasing. People are talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And so it's going to keep trying to, and no human being can win that fight against the algorithm, and no one is controlling the algorithm, right? That's the part that freaks me out.
Like they say they have control over it, but in reality they don't.
No control.
No control. And the reason they have no control, we see it all the time. There's not a week that goes by that we don't see some sort of like creator getting their own content pulled, or music being tagged when in reality they had permission, or just all sorts of weird like copyright, because the person doesn't have power. The corporations behind the algorithm have power. The algorithm has to appease the people that feed them money. Which is the big companies, the CBSs, the ABC.
It's about keeping your eyeballs on the screen. It's not about caring for your kid. It's not about making sure your content is clean. It's not about even supporting you in your content creation. It's about keeping eyeballs on the screen. Which, whatever. We're trying to get eyeballs on the screen too, so like we're part of the system. But I mean, like if I had check boxes, I would check boxes for advertisements that I didn't want on my service. If I had links, I would say anything from this part of the world I don't want to look at, right? Just because of that part of the world is probably more likely to put the bots and use the algorithm to their advantage.
Right.
And then I would, I don't, again, we've talked about this. I don't let my kid on YouTube, and I get upset when parents let their kid on YouTube, because I'm like, you need to educate yourself. YouTube is good when you're there. Like we show her animal videos. We watch help desk videos. We watch videos together on YouTube, but unsupervised YouTube access? No.
Yeah,
and I am quick to like, here's a video, close it, because the algorithm's going to get her. And I don't know how to educate her on that. That's going to be...
It's hard because they don't understand. They're too young, and the algorithm is just something that is there from day.
Not caring. Not a nanny.
They open up Netflix on their iPads, and they're suggested new shows, and it's shows that they would like, and it's because the algorithm is suggesting those. Daddy isn't. The algorithm is.
Yep. I know, and I have to be like, oh, why don't you watch something else, kiddo? Let's pick something else together, and then I have to sit and watch. I mean, she's definitely gone on the Power Rangers. Like it's like Power Rangers, and then Power Rangers Samurai, Power Rangers Ninja, dinosaurs, and then like more and more stuff similar to that has started to come up, and I'm like, what is this trash? What is this nonsense? She's watching that. So there is. I'm like, well, you got to go back up. We got to climb back up the hill.
Climb back up that ladder. Climb up that ladder. No.
Sure, too far down the Netflix algorithm rabbit hole there. I wish, and I don't know how to get it. Maybe there is, and I don't really see it. But I wish there was a way to say never show this program again on my Netflix. Right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do it.
I know they're like they have so much content now. Why would they be afraid of me being like, you know what? I don't need to see this comedian.
So I was able to kill it once.
I feel like I did it once in the past.
Long ago, when my kiddo was like my first kiddo was like in three or four. He had a babysitter, and at the same time, he would watch. Like, we'd put on Blue's Clues and all that kind of stuff to kind of like keep him, educational shows and all that. But the one thing that always came up on the kids side of Netflix, and again, this is 5+ years ago, was Barney. Barney would show up constantly. And I didn't want it. It was
like
bad.
A million of those purple videos.
Right. So what I went is I spent one day, I went through, and before you could rate the shows, 5-star, I gave everything 1 star below. I think you couldn't give them 0, so you just gave everything 1 star, 1 star. I went through and 1-starred all of the Barney. So the algorithm learned. And so it stopped putting it up at the very top of my list.
Interesting.
Then my babysitter came over, watched my kiddo, and played a Barney. Like once for him, and
the algorithm's like,
oh, what, you like this? And all of a sudden it showed up back on my list.
I got all the good stuff right here, kiddo.
Right here, come here. Here's that purple. I love you. No, totally. It was terrifying. And then I remember coming home, like not that day, but like a week later, we were watching. I'm like, why is Barney back? And I remember her being in the room, and she was like, oh yeah, I put that on for Con all the time. I'm like, like you're the reason it's back up. I'm like, you found it.
There's
like
no
it wasn't.
Yeah, there's no.
The algorithm knows, and if it smells blood, it gives you all of the ads.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time on my Facebook feed. If I search for, like, I'm looking for a wallet or something, all of a sudden, I get wallet ads, nonstop wallet ads, and some of them are like, this is pretty cool. How do I save this product so I can look at it later, but not allow my feed to just get like tormented by this product?
I was looking up. I think like one day I was like looking up costumes for Halloween, and then I do a lot of D&D stuff, a lot of searches on D&D, and like this weird like confluence of advertisements. It was like, do you want to dress like that guy from Assassin's Creed? We got your back. And I'm like,
we got that hoodie. We've got that hoodie.
And I'm like, what are these weird outfits? And there's like Renaissance outfits, Renaissance weapons. Do you want? And I'm like, oh God, what have I done wrong here? Yes, you're like, you're right. If we're gonna draw a Venn diagram, I'd be somewhere in there, but it's too real. It's too real. I'm not ready for Red Fair outfits. I'm not ready.
Rennie, small hands.
Exactly. It's so weird.
We're like cabbage.
But it gets you. I'm sure I'm going to get Ren Fair advertisements again soon. I've been getting a lot of 3D printer advertisements as I've been looking them up and thinking about those 3D printers. So, home repairs came first this first quarter, so there was no fun for me this first quarter. But next quarter, hopefully, I can invest in my 3D printer. I got the space, man. Everything's looking real nice. I just gotta.
So then you're just going to keep sending me the jobs, and we've got something printed here, but we're not going to.
For all our friends who listen, we started a tradition last year where I run a D&D game for the 6 or 7 of us that show up and play. Joe and I have gone 6-7 years in a row, 8 years in a row, 9 years,
12. So
my brothers have gone 7. I think they only missed 2. Right, they kind of broke it up. My buddy Astronaut Go again. Like, we've all veterans of this show, so we added D&D last year, and I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm talking to my brother, and he's like, "Listen, I'm only going for that D&D game now." He's like, "It's like I've seen the show, I've done the floor, I enjoy that stuff." But he's like, "Really, it's about that D&D game now." I'm like, "Yeah, I gotcha." So I'm excited for it. So I asked, I've been designing this thing, and I asked Joe there, since I know he's got the 3D printer, to print up a nice little set piece for it, because I didn't want to go out and buy it. I didn't want to.
Well, and again, we didn't steal anything, guys, and we're doing this because the guy. There's a specific guy on forums and other places. He's got an Injure.
I saw that Injure, and
so he basically went through the entire D&D handbook, or the monster manual and all that. And
so he did monster manual, and then this is that new one, that Tomb of Chul, whatever, the new campaign with Azarak or whatever it is.
Yeah. And he went through and 3D designed all of the characters for 3D printer use.
All the characters, all the monsters, even the traps. It's so
all the
awesome.
Traps, all the their STL files. So you just go and download them, throw them at your 3D printer, and print them out. And Pedro was like, "Hey man, can you print something out for us?" And yeah.
What if like a streaming game service gave you like the ROM that you could 3D print your cartridge into, Joe, so you can get that visceral feeling of plugging something physical in? Would you be like, yeah, this is all right, I can live with it?
No, yeah.
So you're like downloading the game, printing the
cartridge. It would be like, here's the cartridge. You can digitally buy the game, or you can spend an extra $10 and we'll send you like the cartridge version of it, which people do. Sure. There's all sorts of indie makers out there that still program games. They homebrew games for like the NES, the Genesis.
Oh, right. I've seen those.
So they make home. They make home. They take they've got all sorts of boards out there, homebrew boards, and they burn a ROM chip, and you can buy this game, and there you go. Here's my home game for old console. But then you can buy shells. They make whole communities that make box art and all that. You can print it out. And so then there's these third-party companies that go, hey, you want to buy a complete version of the game, already pre-burned onto hardware, already made. Here's this really cool signed copy, limited edition, gold, whatever, awesome cartridge. Third-party company does it for them. And so it's like an extra market. You can still buy the game and just get the base game for like 99 cents or whatever.
Crazy how all these hobbyists have figured out how to make money selling me Super Mario Brothers again and again and again. Right. That's
right. Right.
Again, like I don't know what the solution is, but I would feel weird if all I did was pick up a paddle, a joystick, whatever we call them nowadays, a controller, and started streaming, right? Not even turn on my system, not like it's just already...
It's weird.
I'm like Google, Stadia, Alexa, whoever I'm shouting at. What's Google? Google Assistant? Is that what they're called?
Okay, Google.
Okay, Google. Okay, Google, I'm ready to play games, and it just comes up on my screen. That would be weird,
Yeah.
But not weird for our kids, man. That's the.
It's not. My kid walks in into the kitchen in the morning and goes, Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Oh, really? Not Alexa, tell me a fart joke, because that's a good one.
No. They don't know that yet. I've avoided that. They're boys. I have boys. You have a wonderful little girl who probably would make fun of it once, but then like stop. My boys would just like constantly say it and make them say jokes over and over again. Or if Alexa found a way to like make the noise, like play a fart noise, and it does it.
There's a skill for that.
I'm sure there is, and they not only would they like abuse it, I would.
You'd have to turn off the Alexa.
Turn off the whole Alexa, because they just run around going, Alexa, fart! Ha ha ha! Fart! Alexa, fart! They would do it.
It'd be great, especially if it was different.
Oh, I'm sure it's like different fart noises, like a more wet one, a dry one.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Just like,
especially like a super sound system for the whole house. It would just
and
that's the dystopian future for children. He's like, they're making me stream my games, and it's just fart sounds in the background, and your kids laughing though.
So I've got two of the HomePods, the Apple ones. I've got two of them in the same room, and the reason I have that is because you can buy one and they sound fantastic. But I recently invested in a second one on a sale, and when you have two of them, they link together and they become.
When you say invested, I'm curious as to what your definition of invested.
Invested for my own home enjoyment.
Okay.
It brings me joy. Gives me joy. I don't have a hi-fi or a stereo downstairs.
You should make all the assistants talk to each other. Like there should be. Like
I haven't tried that yet. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Okay, Google. Say, "Hey Siri," or "Hey Siri," and then, "Hey Siri, play Hey Alexa," or whatever, and have them all kind of
just go around this
room. I mean, I don't have a Google one. There we go. We set something up. Hey Siri, stop. I don't even know what's playing.
This is the algorithm's gonna get you.
It's gonna get me. It just got me. Hold on. Oh, check it out. So somehow or another, it said it started playing, and now it's playing Childish Gambino.
Oh my gosh!
Bings me on YouTube.
That's amazing. So anyway, streaming games, but we're not going to be streaming from PAX East. We're going to be playing games together. We're going to be enjoying ourselves. I got Borderlands Fever for Thursday, right?
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen, Gearbox looks like they're just trying to treat this like E3.
They're killing me. They're killing me.
Well,
board game? Borderlands 3 board game?
Board game. Look, rumors seem to be, from what they see, we thought it was just Borderlands 3. And that was the first image that came up, and it was like a exit sign with the March 28th or whatever, and then it said exit number 3, which obviously Borderlands 3. We're gonna get that. That's what we're gonna get. But they're like, oh, it's time to announce another game and another game. They kept announcing all these like snippets of like things that are coming, and we're probably gonna get Borderlands 2 or a Borderlands collection on the Switch, which will make it the first truly handheld version of Borderlands. We did have a Vita version, which ran really bad. But
stop talking about Borderlands 2 right now, Joe. Stop talking about.
So I will probably buy that. But then they've announced another thing. So they teased a board game version of it. They've teased all sorts of stuff. I'm excited. I haven't been excited for a panel in a while, but
I haven't checked the map yet. Do they have space on the floor? Are they presenting a game? Do they have?
God, I'm sure they do. I haven't even looked.
It's gonna be good. I'm gonna be playing it out tomorrow, probably the whole extravaganza for me.
Yeah, no. Lots of stuff. If you do just a quick search for PAX East 2019, you're going to see that Sony's going to be there with a bunch of stuff. Nintendo's going to be there with a bunch of stuff.
Looks like it's going to be a fantastic year.
Yeah, I haven't seen a year this big in a while. There's always
last year was meh. This year is
today. SNX they announced Samurai Showdown. The new version of Samurai Showdown will be playable at so they've got a PAX East trailer, and it'll be playable on the floor.
That's gonna be dope.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. So
Samurai Showdown.
Yeah. So Samurai Showdown is gonna be there. Square is gonna have a big presence there with Final Fantasy 15, their new expansion. Everyone's been talking about that. That's been a big one.
I used to love Final Fantasy games. I don't know what happened to me. They're
not for us anymore. But
that's right. They're not for us. I'm an old man now. You're right.
They're not for us anymore. But what's been fantastic about it is the MMO, the 14, I guess what it is, 14?
13?
No, 14 is the MMO one. Yeah. Has been pretty good. It's a pretty good MMO, and they've been constantly good community, good content, lots of good updates. They've added in a couple new races recently in this new update that's coming out. And I mean, but that's apparently going to be there with their Starfield. That's one of their big game that they've been saying that they're.
You know what I never considered, like all of these looter shooters that are essentially MMOs light, sort of pulling away all the toxic jerks that used to play MMOs that maybe.
So now the MMOs, all the MMOs are good.
Are cleaner, right?
They're
cleaner, more friendly, I guess. Back when MMOs first started, right? I was looking through some of my old dungeon magazines for inspiration for our adventure this weekend, and there totally was like advertised. It was just some crazy old MMOs that I haven't played in years. It was like nostalgic for me. The Rubies of Eventide or EverQuest, the first few advertisements and things like that.
So our kiddos will never get the. Maybe they will. I mean, we talked about like Club Penguin and all that before, and there's stuff now that like Roblox. That's kind of a VR.
That's the kid jam, yeah.
The kid jam, and I haven't let my kids play it. I don't want to. I don't.
You're such a.
I am. I'm trying to protect them as best as I can.
I want to get. Here's my mission, and if you can come back and check in 10, 12 years if it worked out, I want to get her to really enjoy couch play first. Before, and also, she has to prepare herself for the horrors of being a girl on the internet. So I have to get her there first before I can invite her to play online. I really do. I don't know how to do it, but I got to do it.
We're getting better. We're getting better. As awful as the world seems to be right now towards women, we're getting better. The women they've come together. They've formed communities. They play. They take no shit from anybody anymore. They talk back just as much. They're
I want it to be nice.
I know. I want it to be nice too. I want it to be kind of a happy place. But you and I both know that the internet is not a happy place, and it's not. We think of it as a happy place, but yeah. Speaking of that,
I want to talk about a happy place. So we've been playing State of Decay 2, right? Here's the hilarious part. State of Decay 2 is permadeath. You know this, right? Your characters can permanently die. You can join other people's games and permanently die on their game. So my brother V was playing, and he was just randomly joining people's games, and he joined one, and an airstrike suddenly landed on exactly where he joined, so his character immediately died. So he joined again with another character, and he could see the person on that server setting up the airstrike and then shooting up the flare to call for help, and then someone will join your game and then die. So but instead of getting mad, right, my brother was just like, well, that was mean. That totally killed my person. He went to the guy's base and trashed his cars and stole two of his things and then locked it out. So that's a different I feel like today my kid would have been very upset if her character had died, right? She would have been like, oh fuck. But 10 years ago I would have been very upset if my character had died. But now we've sort of matured to the point where we're like, troll me, I troll you. That's just part of the way we play our games now. I know it's sad. I don't want to play that way.
I don't want to play that way either. I've never been vindictive. I've always been about the friends and enjoying myself online.
But even my brother was like, that made me mad. But you know what?
I know your brother. I know.
What are you going to do? So I got back at him the best I could. But you're also, there's a moment of impression where you're like, wow, they figured out a way to kill other players coming into games. They figured out, they took the time in the middle of the day. My brother's like, it's the middle of the day. Why is he just sitting there trying to kill players all day?
When you kill them, you get to go loot their body, right?
Yeah, but you don't get much stuff. It's you get more stuff if you work together, and the game rewards working together, so it makes no sense. It's a total waste.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Man.
But anyway, I don't think my kid's ready for that experience where things are suddenly taken away from her by a stranger who thinks it's funny, right? That's my time wasted. So we'll get there. Anyway, we'll get there. or these services like Apple. I can see Apple offering a premium service to monitor it and make sure families can play together without the drama.
Yeah, Apple again. I know this is gonna get weird. I know we don't have a big enough following for us to get trolled enough. I'm sure I kind of wish we did because I'd like to hear some of this.
I don't want to get trolled. Are you kidding me?
No, I don't want to get trolled, but it's hip to hate Apple now. At one point in time, Apple was the underdog, and no one really cared about Apple. Then Apple became really big with the iPhone.
People always hated Apple. Once they sold the phone, people hated Apple.
Well, once they sold the phone, is when their market share went straight up, right?
Actually, you know what? The only kids who own Apples had a ton of money and didn't really know computers, right? There was that magical time period where the only one, the color iMacs, there was a time period where I feel like there was a time period where if you owned an Apple, you were being silly with your money, right? It was still I
owned an Apple machine because I traded for it at one point way back in the day. I had a Performa. So
I had a Apple computer all through college because they were the educational machines.
Yeah. Well, but again, through college, right? So you had an iBook, right?
Yes, an iBook. Yes, you saw it, that big clunker thing, right?
Yeah, you had a big PowerBook, a big iBook back in the day, but those they worked. They did what they did. You didn't have to fight with Windows. They were the educational machine at the time, and they established that with the applications that they provided. I mean, you bought a Mac when Mac OS finally came out, and you got a suite of software for free.
Yeah,
there wasn't a PC that did that unless you bought some e-machine thing that provided a suite.
Most campuses were set up for Macs because Macs gave them away free. So like it was just one of those things. But people still bought the really expensive Macs, and you'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, don't buy that super expensive Macintosh. Yeah, I don't know. It was a time where we all.
Well, Apple was always kind of premium and has always been seen as a premium product. Not for people would say, oh, well, I can get the same hardware for cheaper.
Well, there was that like I'm a PC, I'm an Apple advertisement.
Yeah, there was for a while. There was, and that was actually even before they went to Intel, before they went to the Intel chips. So they were the PowerBook G4 and the G5 and all of that was the Mac versus PC.
That's what everyone hated.
John Hodgins and Hodgman.
Justin
Long were both Mac and PC kind of the scenario. Look, Apple's a very different company from back then now. They don't.
I guess what I'm coming to, Joe, is that we've all hated Apple.
There's always been a big hate for Apple, but that doesn't mean that they're not taking good stances where they really shine. And I commend them in this stance for them being kind of a feed of the in-app purchase. Kind of, they created the machine, like the App Store and they're not as bad as the Android Play Store where you download an app and they'll steal your entire identity. They've had a better vetting of the App Store. Boom, let me lay that in there. Got to put that in there, guys. But they've been better at kind of making sure that the environment or the gameplays are better. That doesn't mean that all the apps that you download on the Apple App Store,
a lot of trash.
There's still a lot of trash, but they're not as dangerous. They don't have access to your phone as much. Not saying that it hasn't happened. There are definitely, but that said, they created this like monetization of like, hey, let's find a way to feed these app makers with in-app purchases.
Yep.
And then they went ahead and went, hold them up. Now we're going to make a whole new separate service where developers can make a game, put it on our subscription-based model, and it cannot have in-app purchases. It cannot have ads. It has to be a full premium game, which
they'll probably have DLC, right? They'll slice that somehow.
Well, I mean,
in-app purchases are very different from DLC. So
I don't know.
In my head, right? There's like buy crystals to do things or buy a whole new map or a whole new character. That's DLC, right? So that's different.
Right.
I mean, they'll slice it somehow, I imagine, because developers are still going to want more money, right? I mean, the subscription service is really not going to be split up if your game's 5 years old, right? I imagine.
Who knows? It's like royalties, right? Like as many times as it gets down.
Apple didn't get rich by giving money away. So
no. It's always been a 70-30 like split. Yeah. It's a 70-30 split, and that's always been kind of a controversial thing because Apple does take a bigger chunk, a huger chunk than let's say the Android store. But because it's 70-30, and because of the cultivation and the cleanliness and whatnot, your app that you put up on there will get downloaded 3, 4, 5 times more.
Right. You pay for that access. I get it. I'm interested in seeing what Apple does, right, with their arcade, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be a competitor against the other ones.
No,
right?
It might not be. It's definitely not. It's different genre, but it is. We don't know. I don't know. It's too early. It hasn't been announced. If they're getting big studios, I saw Sega on there. I saw a bunch of them. If they can do the same thing that all the other ones can with their infrastructure. They've got a big enough infrastructure that they can go, we're going to have big games. Maybe they'll run off a server. If you've got an Apple TV or an iPad, you can stream it to your. And what if one of the options on there is Microsoft like login or whatever? You can then stream or play your Xbox games from the xCloud service.
It'd be ridiculous too.
I mean, but it's happening, right? We've already talked about the fact that Microsoft doesn't care about the hardware anymore. They're all about the software.
I can't wait till I can finally go back to being a PC hobbyist, right? I just got to build a computer big enough to do all these subscription services and play them that way, right? So that's going to be nutty. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully there'll be some folks at PAX East previewing stuff. We're talking about it.
I'm excited.
The show's going to buzz it. The show's going to be buzzing with it.
Yeah. So we're going to be there. I'm going to be putting up a lot of content up on the Facebook, on the Instagram, on the Twitter.
I'll just be photobombing. I'll be like, "Yeah, you're taking a
I'll make sure he gets in a lot of shots. I'll make sure he gets to say a couple things here and there. we'll turn on the live. Maybe we'll Twitch from it. I mean, I don't know yet, guys. I don't have a big enough audience on the Twitch yet, but I should. If you guys followed me, I did stream on Facebook just because it seemed like that's where our biggest clientele, I guess, would be the best way to put it. Followers our Patreon.
And thanks for watching, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I streamed my kids. I didn't even get on camera. I decided to just point.
I hear you talking from off camera when you were.
Yeah. So it was nice. I had them played. We played Mario the first time we streamed, and you got to see them react and jump around and get off camera and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then the second night. I wanted to play an old game, but I wanted to stream at the same time. The kids are still awake, so I said, "Why not? Let's see their reactions." And what was fun about that is they're used to playing Breath of the Wild because they play it on the Switch, and so I decided to go as far back as Ocarina. I didn't go further back, but Ocarina of Time, which is again an excellent game. But you don't realize how much of a foundation that game laid for how the rest of the Zelda franchise became, and they knew instantly what everything was, and they knew that that's the Deku shield, and that's the they knew where things were, and they names and all of that already, and there's a Deku stick, and so we ran.
Did they know not to hit the chickens? Did they know?
They didn't know not to hit the chickens. I haven't done it for them yet, but they did get a complete kick because on the second night, which I didn't stream, the second night we played. So the first night we ran all the way through the Deku Tree. Mm-hmm. And after we beat the Deku Tree, they give you the first spiritual stone, and then the next part of the mission is go to the Hyrule Castle. So we made it to the Hyrule Castle. We talked to the princess, and then she said, "Let's go, head towards Death Mountain, and you'll go up to the Goron City." We get there, and the Kokiri village is at the base of the mountain. You walk in there, and you have to do the quest to find all the chickens.
Right.
Throw them into the pen. So I did that before I ended the night. But there's a couple of chickens that you have to get, and the way to get them is you grab one chicken, and then you jump, and then you glide with the chicken. And they were just cracking up because they're like, "What? Chickens don't fly?" One's like, "Yeah,
we got wings.
Float.
You got wings."
Float. So basically, they saw me jumping off like roofs and stuff with this chicken, and they were just dying. And
you're playing a whole different game, right?
Whole different game. So it's been enlightening to kind of see them brighten up and like laugh at these like old things that because I can run through the game pretty much in my head. I know where to go next. I'm just kind of doing that. I'm beelining towards everything that needs to happen, and so they're seeing a very explorational, but not like I know exactly what to show them, and they get that like, what? When you can do that, you can blow that up. So it's been fun.
That's awesome. Good deal, dude. All right. Check out. We'll come back. PAX East.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on Thursday, probably online in some way, shape, or form. Maybe even Wednesday on my way to the airport, flying out there. I mean, I'm gonna saturate your feeds, guys. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on.
That's true. You stand warned. Joe does post a lot.
I'm going to saturate yes.
Bonkers.
I can't wait. The hype train is here. PAX East, guys.
Pictures of Boston food, pictures of Boston gaming. It's going to be awesome.
Man, that's right.
Like us, follow us, especially if you want to hear PAX East updates from all the folks, see our pictures, see the enjoyment, understand how this is our big travel vlog. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, this is our vacation.
Messages. If you have any questions, if you want to check out something at PAX East that you can't check out,
yeah, right. If you guys see something on say like, hey, there's this at PAX East or whatever, can you go check it out? Send me a message. By all means, post. Say, hey, this company's here. This indie game is here that I've been following. let me take a look. I'll walk right up to the guy and talk to him and say, hey, I will.
I'll just stand awkwardly to the side, like, do I talk now? No. I'm just going to go over there, Joe. Bye.
I'll get his name. I'll get his business card, whatever.
It's going to be great.
What I got to do. All right, guys. Episode 22 in the can. Have a good one, guys. See you at PAX East.